10, 11. Verse number 11. Okay, whoever wants to read the verse can raise your hands, please. Hare Krishna. Chittavayini Mataji, if you have the book in front of you, you can start reading the verse.
Okay,
And
Mata.
I
Hare.
can share and share.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dravya Swabhavashaya Karma Kalai Ekadashami Manaso Vikaraha Sahasrasha Shatasha Kotishascha Shetagnato Namito Nasvathasyuha. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Krishna. Vijay Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dravya Swabhavasaya Karma Kanava Egadasami Manoso Vigaraga Sahasra Sadasha Kodi Sasasa Kshetragnado Namidona Svadha Shu. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Madhumai Krishna Kant Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dravya Swabhavashaya Karma Kalair Ekadashami Manaso Vikaraha Sahasrashah Shatashah Kotishascha Kshetrajnato Namito Nasvatah Syuhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Krishna. Venkat Narsimha Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dravyasya bhava asaya karma kalai ekadasi dasami manaso vikaraha sahasrasaha satasaha kotichacha kshetragnato namidho nasvataha suho. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Usha Dayavati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dravayasva Bhava Asaya Karma Alai Ekadasa Ami Manasam Vikaraha Sahasra Satasha. Sorry Mataji. Sahasa Sahasa Kotishka Sahasrasha Koti. Sorry, Mataji. Sahasrasha Chatasa Kotischa Kshetra Jinata Nitaha Naswata Siyo. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, you just got initiated recently? Usha Dayavati.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
What was your name
On
before?
19. Hare Krishna Mataji.
What was your name before?
Usha Bhaskaran.
Acha,
Remember we
Usha
talked
Bhaskaran.
earlier.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna. Anjali Mataji.
द्रव्य स्वभाव आशय कर्म कालैः एकादश आविमनसः विकाराः सहस्रशः शतशः कोटिशः च क्षेत्रज्ञतः न मिथः न स्वतः स्वयुः. हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prafulla Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. प्रणाम माताजी.
Hare Krishna.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय द्रव्य स्वभावस्य कर्म काले एकादशामि मनसो विकारः सहस्रशः शतशः कोटिशश्च क्षेत्रज्ञात नाम नामितो न स्वतः स्युः. हरे कृष्ण माताजी. थैंक यू माताजी.
Madhumati Vilasini Mataji. You
Hare
also just
Krishna.
got initiated?
Yes, Mataji.
What was your name, Mataji?
Madhu Soni Mataji.
Ah, congratulations.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Navina.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dravya Swabhavashaya Karma Kaleha Ekadashami Manaso Vikaraha Sahasrashah Shatashah Kotischa Kshetragyato na Mitho na Swatah Syuhu. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. Shubha Rao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Navina. Krishna.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय द्रव्य स्वभावाशय कर्म कालैः एकादशामी मनसो विकाराः सहस्रशः शतश कोटिशश्च क्षेत्रज्ञतो न मिथो न स्वतः स्युः। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Krishna. Leena Mataji, Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Nandana.
द्रव्य स्वभावाश्रय कर्म काल एकादशामि मनसो विकारः सहस्रशः शतशः कोटिशश्च क्षेत्रज्ञतो न मिथो न स्वतः स्युः। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Krishna. Revati Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, प्रणाम माताजी।
Hare Krishna.
द्रव्य स्वभावस्य कर्मोकनवत् एकादशामी मनसो विकारः सहस्रः शतश कोटिशश्च क्षेत्र निधन मिदो न स्वदुः स्युः। हरे कृष्ण माताजी, थैंक यू वेरी
Thank
मच।
you. Hare Krishna. द्रव्यास्वभावस्य कर्मा काले एकादशामी मनसो विकारः सहस्रशः शतशः कोटिशश्च क्षेत्रज्ञतो नामिथुना स्वतः स्युः. Dravya, by physical objects, Swabhava, by nature as the cause of development, Ashaya, by culture, Karma, by predestined resultant actions, Kalehe, by time, Ekadash, 11, Ami, all these, Manasaha of the mind, Vikaraha, transformations, Sahasrashaha in thousands, Satashaha in hundreds, Koti Sahacha and in millions. Kshetragnataha from the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na, not, Mitha, one another, na, nor, Swataha from themselves, Sihu are. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The physical elements, nature, the original cause, culture, destiny, and the time element are all material causes. Agitated by these material causes, the 11 functions transform into hundreds of functions and then into thousands and then into millions. But all these transformations do not take place automatically by mutual combination. Rather, they are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Shabbat ki jai. Oh Krishna, sorry. One should not think that all the interactions of the physical elements, gross and subtle, that cause the transformation of mind and consciousness are working independently. They are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, Krishna says that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smritir jnana pohanam cha. As mentioned herein, Supersoul, Shaitagna, is directing everything. The living entity is also called Shaitagna, but the Supreme Shaitagna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the witness and order giver. Under his direction, everything takes place. The different inclinations of the living entity are created by his own nature or his expectations, and he is trained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of material nature. The body, nature, and the physical elements are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They do not function automatically. Nature is neither independent nor automatic. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is behind nature. Maya adhyakshena prakritihi stuyate sachara acharam hetunanena kanteya jagad viparivartite. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदामह्यं कृष्ण स्वयं रूपा गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्ते। सप्तकाञ्चन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी पुष्पान्यस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्ति वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Picharine, Nivisheshanavadi Paschatya Deshadayane. The physical elements, nature, the original cause, culture, destiny, and the time elements are all material causes. As stated by these material causes, 11 functions transform into hundreds of functions, and then into thousands, and then into millions. But all these transformations do not take place automatically by mutual combination. Rather, they are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Creative Impetus, Chapter 11. What is the name of the chapter again? Who is instructing who?
Jadavarata instructing King Rahugana.
Rahugana.
Yes, Jad Bharat is instructing King Rahugan, and he is instructing about the complexities of the mind, that how the conditioned mind of a living entity is solely and wholly responsible for placing the pure spiritual soul in the material contamination or material conditioned environment. And then mind is a seat for desires, and the desires have to be fulfilled through gross body. Then comes into function the 5 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and then another expansion of the mind takes place, which is called false ego. And then all these domains are actually trying to keep the mind in its conditioned state, because that's where the mind wants to be, covered by the 3 modes of material nature. And it is the enemy of the soul because it's uncontrolled. But if the mind gets rid of those material desires and material contamination, then everything else aligns. Right now, everything is diversified. But then things fall in alignment when the mind is in Krishna consciousness. If the mind is not in Krishna consciousness, as we will study in forthcoming verses, that it keeps the conditioned soul in illusion, lamentation, greed, thirst, hunger, all these things, fatigue, all these things come up because the mind is, trying to keep itself very conditioned. Over here, we are saying, okay, that we can say that, okay, mind is in control because I might have done some activity in my past life, and then I have that karma, to have a mind like the mind I have. You can think like that. So Jad Bharat is clarifying that physical elements, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether, nature, which is like the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, original cause. The original cause here refers to, from what I can understand, is the mind. Because that is the cause of placing the Krishna, the conditioned soul in the living in the conditioned soul in the material environment. Culture, which is like the expansion of activities of the mind in the physical domain. Destiny, which is like the accumulation of pious and impious results of pious and impious activities that we are doing moment to moment. And the time element under which all these things are happening, because it has a beginning and it has an end. So there's a time factor. They're all material causes. Okay, now this brings up an important point that, as I said before, a few classes before, a material problem cannot have a material solution. Cannot. Because whatever solution we are going to find in the material domain for a material problem, it is going to be very, very limited. And it might not be a solution. It may just be an adjustment, may not be a solution. Okay, so for example, if somebody is suffering from, let's say, some mental health diagnosis, let's say depression. Okay, somebody has a diagnosis of depression. So the whole of the medical allopathic, at least I can speak from the allopathic point of view, cure or treatment plan is designed in such a manner that the mind is able to get rid of the feelings of sadness, rejection, depression, repression, all these things. Okay, but we see that people who have, let's say, severe depression, they go through the medication, which actually changes the physical synapses or physical or neurochemical changes in the brain at the physical level. And then they also go through counseling, which actually is mostly for the subtle body of the mind. Then they sometimes become okay to function in the material world. Sometimes come to terms. I'm not saying don't do it because it has very tangible results in the material sense. But that does not guarantee that the person will not become depressed again, you see. So it is an adjustment, it's not a solution, which is needed. Okay, I'm not saying it's not needed. It's very highly needed. It's needed, but be intelligent to understand that it is not the solution, it is an adjustment. Because the solution means that it is not going to happen again. It will never happen again. But so the material problem cannot have a material solution. If I'm saying, okay, if I give this excuse of my uncontrolled mind that because I did this in my past life, or I've done this, I have been living my life in this manner, so my destiny is that I have to suffer. I cannot be happy. I don't have this karma, that karma. But Jad Bharat is telling us here, this is a material cause. Don't try to look for a solution in a material cause. I'm not saying don't try to look for a material cause. You can look for a material cause, but don't try to look for a solution in the material cause. The solution will always be in alignment of our consciousness and life towards Krishna. There are going to be so many examinations depending on what level one is at in terms of this alignment in their own journey of Krishna consciousness. That will be tested. And I just wanted to bring up one model, not that you have to go and read it a lot, and this is a psychology class, but in a world of psychology, there is this model which is very famous. It's called Maslow's model of needs. Okay, this particular psychologist in 1950s came up with this Maslow, his name is Maslow, the model of needs of a human being. It starts from bottom of a triangle, says, okay, if the lowest of the lowest need that every human being has are the physiological needs. We need food, shelter, clothing, a place to sleep, or breathing, air to breathe. Right? If that need is met, then the person is able to focus on a need for safety and security. And if the need for physiological and safety and security is met, then we actually come to our subtle body needs, which is love and belonging, okay, or which is nurturing our self-esteem. Now, when these needs are met, these lower four are met, then according to him, then one can go towards self-actualization, which he defines as morality, creativity, spontaneity, acceptance, experience purpose, meaning, and inner potential. And then he says that very low percentage of people are able to actually come to the topmost, because mostly we are struggling with our physical needs or our emotional needs. So physical needs are physiological or safety and security, and emotional is love and belonging and self-esteem. So this doesn't come. You see, there is a defect here. Okay, if you really think about it, what is the defect? The defect is that he is starting from the bodily needs. And then he's going to the needs of the mind. And then he's going to the need, maybe the soul. It has to be inverted. That's what I feel. In Krishna consciousness, we learn. It has to be inverted that, okay, if you meet the needs of the soul, which is hankering only for association with Krishna, then the needs of the subtle body and gross body are automatically met. We don't have to, go here and there, or we don't even have to go from one material body to another material body to go on struggling to meet these needs. Okay, so understand that these are all material causes, and we are very much thick with these material causes. It's not that we are free from it and we can criticize that, oh, this is material, I'm spiritual. No. I met a very nice devotee in Vrindavan when I was there end of last month in Vrindavan, a very elevated, very senior devotee. I know him for some time and I was able to take association. And he's a very big astrologer as well. So he was telling me about somebody that he said not everybody is not ready to come to Krishna. I said, Prabhu, you give astrology, but you give like from the spiritual perspective, right? Because you're a devotee. He said, yes, but then sometimes you have to adjust because people are not, sometimes not everybody is ready to come to Krishna from the get-go. He was talking about somebody that he recommended, Chandi Havan, something like that, okay? So, and he said, why I did not recommend directly going to Krishna. And one way we can say that, okay, Krishna, you are everything, and I surrender unto your lotus feet. And this is, please accept my apology. Said, why? Because this person, he could see in the chart of this person that in the past life had offended Durga. Okay. He said, I could have said that you go directly to Krishna. But according to the Shastras, if we are able to recognize a personality to whom we offended, it is better to approach that personality directly and seek forgiveness. Okay, it's not that, okay, I offend this person and I know I offend this person, but rather than going to this person, I go to Krishna and seek forgiveness, which is fine, but which is not the most shastric way of doing things. You go to that person. So Jad Bharat, now connecting the dots here, is telling us that, he hasn't come to the soul yet. If you really read these instructions, that my dear King Rahugan, which I think all of us are representing Rahugan here, the problem is in your mind. You see, the problem is not that I am carrying the plantain and then it's causing, and I'm carrying it unevenly and it's causing you to shake inside your plantain and not be comfortable enough. So I am the problem. It's not like that. The problem is in your mind because you have identified yourself to be eligible or to be entitled for this particular service from these particular subordinates because you think yourself as a king or you think yourself as the proprietor of this land or as the leader of this particular country. So the problem is not in my carrying, the problem is in your own mind. And you have to purify that mind. Like that, we can look at our life and see that what all, lower desires we are carrying. I say lower, no desire. It's not that we're going to be desire free. I say lower desire if it is not in alignment with Krishna consciousness. In the sense, if we talk about what we are studying now, just think like the model I'm trying to present, that there is this mind, and the mind has a desire, independent of soul's desire to be with Krishna. And it has now the field of activity to act in the material world. And this particular mind has now expanded its jurisdiction to manufacture 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, which Krishna has allowed under the supervision of material nature, right? And then it also gives rise to false ego, which is a sense of false identity that I'm the enjoyer, I'm the doer, and I'm the product of the material nature. And now I'm expanding my activities in this material world. And I'm completely neglecting the soul. Okay, so the problem is not that I am, not getting the objects of my sense gratification or I'm meeting with defeat here. The basic problem is in the desire. My desire is not in alignment. So everything is diversified. But Krishna consciousness, I'm saying it again, purifies the mind of its material desires. There are still going to be 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses as long as we have the material body. There is still going to be a concept of ego, but it's going to be in alignment. Everything is going to be, in alignment with each other. Not like one thing is taking one corner, another thing is taking one corner, and the circles are not centered around one particular thing. And we will become more and more focused. We will become more and more determined. And we will go to Krishna at the end. The same mind now has aligned our material existence with the alignment of our spiritual existence, and at the end of the body takes us to Krishna. So powerful, right? So powerful. So, and then we can understand here that Kshetragna, where is the word Kshetragna? Kshetragno na mitho na swataha syuhu. Prabhupada is explaining this, that all these transformations do not take place automatically in the material sense, where the mind is deciding and working senses are working, or knowledge senses are working, and a false ego is being fed, and then based on a desire, we are making another material body. It's not automatic. It is under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is very micromanaging our material life, even though he doesn't want to do it, but he's still doing it. This is called unconditional love. There is no condition from that Supreme Personality of Godhead that if you don't become Krishna conscious, I'm not going to be with you like that. We are doing it to our own self, and then we are trying to find problem in our destiny, or in our association with other people, or in our place of dwelling, or wherever, or in our whatever situation we are in life externally. We keep on trying to fix, as I explained in Maslow's model of needs, the lower desires, and we never reach the highest goal. And then we die again. And then we take birth again. And then the cycle continues until we will study later. Until when? This question comes up. Jad Bharat brings up this point later in this chapter. Until when does the conditioned soul transmigrate? Until when? So he gives 3 answers until when. Okay, which I'm not going to repeat, but he says there are 3 answers to until when the conditioned soul has to transmigrate in the material world and before it goes to Krishna. Okay, so my sincere request is that today is a very auspicious day, because Krishna, out of his love for each one of us individually, appeared on this planet to give us these pastimes, that we can fill our consciousness with these pastimes and meditate. So a very auspicious day, so please try to be very, very attentive to your activities, at least for one day in 365 days of the year, and try to be more Krishna conscious. Okay, everything else can wait till tomorrow, right? If anything else has to be, all other material desires can wait until a day after Janmashtami. Right? And Janmashtami, chant more, read more, go to temple, associate more, read about Krishna's birth, and very importantly, associate with the devotees more. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shubhara Prabhuji.
Mataji, these physical elements, they are told as 5 elements, no Mataji?
Where does it say? This physical elements, I understand earth, water, fire, air, ether. Yeah, there are 5, okay. Okay.
No, in physical elements again, this grass and subtle are there, no Mataji? 5 are grass and 3 are subtle.
You can say like that. Yes, you can say like that. You
So
can say
in
like that.
the physical elements, this grass and that cause transformation of the mind and consciousness. That I don't understand, Mataji. How they can cause transformation of the mind and consciousness. And mind itself is one of the physical elements. Like out of 8, 5 are physical elements and 3 are subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. In the physical elements only, the one of the 8 is mind. So,
What is the question?
So how that cause transformation of the mind and consciousness? Like this, the first sentence of
It's opposite. It's opposite. The development is always from subtle to gross. Because we studied in the previous verses, if you remember, I'll bring up the verse, that mind is the cause for how we look. Like, what is it? There was this verse. Let me see here. See, mind makes the living entity wander within this material world. Within this material world, wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experiences mundane affairs in different forms, as a human being, demigod, fat person, skinny person, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearance, bondage, and liberation are caused by the mind. It's opposite. Mind is transforming the gross elements. Okay. So our body is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. We all have different combinations of earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? How come? Because the mind is different. Okay, it's opposite. Do you get it?
Yes. Yes, Mother.
Okay. Any other question, reflection, realizations, corrections, complaints?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Madhu.
Mataji, Prabhupada's explanation and like writing and your explanation, like it's very clear now why it is called Science of Krishna, Mataji, because it's everything is set and formulated. We are the ones, like, we come and we mingle in the environment, and our like whole existence comes down and we entangled in material world, Mataji. Like the process is very set, like it's everything is set, but we diverted from the set path. And the explanation you have given is very clear why it is called the Science of Krishna, Mataji. Like it's like both the things you have given, like why like mind creates problem and our desires go down, but Krishna consciousness, like it's very set formula. Like you have come here, your desire should be higher side, like you should go like your goal should be in higher side, like Krishna should be your goal, but we deviate from our path, Mataji. It's very clear today's explanation, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, this
Yes, Mataji. Anjali, Mataji.
Agitated by this material cause, the 11 functions transform into hundreds of functions and then into thousands and then into millions. So all these are desires, no? Because of the desires, whatever functions will be doing.
Correct. You know, I'll give you one example. I went one time to a store to buy a red color thread, okay, with one of my friends. It was for temple only, and it was Diri's dress. We had to fix something. So red color, right? How hard is it to find a red color thread in a shop? So when I went there were more than 50 shades of red. You know, a rose pink red, blood red, cherry red, strawberry red, or so many red threads. And I'm like, oh my God, what red? So the one color, but so many shades. So I understood that this is how we expand and complicate our material existence. And how we do it. If you come to the foreign countries, nothing is simple. You go for shopping for, let's say, a very simple thing for a house. Let's say you go to buy a mattress, for the bed. There are 20 different kind of mattresses now. Which are you going to buy? And you just want it to be in and out of the store in like maybe half an hour. India is still simple. India is still simple because India is a tapa bhumi. India is a place where we are supposed to be focusing more on the higher cause and have simple living. But foreign countries, when you come, you realize they're so complex. There is no simple living because nobody wants to live simply because there are so many jurisdictions of the mind to have so many things. Okay.
Thank you, Ratani. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.